Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yuzral, the game is World of Warships. Welcome to Domination, welcome to Estuary, and welcome Tamernon, who we're going to be riding with in today's match. He is in the British Tier 7 Tech Tree Cruiser. This is HMS Fiji, more specifically the representative of the Crown Colony class of light cruisers. 12 6-inch guns, torpedo tubes, semi-decent close-range flak if you spec for it, and premium consumables. It's also worth noting that Tamernon's been at this for a bit. The giveaway is that as well as the White Ensign, he is flying the flag of the Blue Steel, which was only really available if you were around for the Arpeggio of Blue Steel events in 2016. So we know he's been doing this for a while, and he's going to demonstrate a lot of that experience today. The matchmaking has been fairly kind. He's top tier. It's a 5-7 game. There's only 3 battleships to worry about, and the only ship on the enemy team that can even conceivably have a radar set is the HMS Belfast of Boron 45, who we're going to be seeing a fair bit of in this replay. Aside from that, there's 4 destroyers to bully. Remember, that British 6-inch gun might only fire armour piercing, but that armour piercing is on a 5 millisecond fuse, so it'll mess up a destroyer quite happily. Thank you very much. It's a fairly standard start to the domination game. 2/3 of the team is going off left, and Tamernon plus a few others has headed off to the right, and that's the Belfast, Boron 45. So the radar set is over on this side of the map, which means that Tamernon is going to have to be rather careful. If he adopts the standard British tactic of stopping, smoking, and then opening up with the Dakar, then he's going to suffer hard the moment Boron pops his radar set. So, pops his hydro, because we've just sighted the Gerda, kind of out of the Gerda's torpedo range at 9 kilometers, but weirder stuff has happened, and he's just firing on the source of those muzzle flashes. Clips the Gerda once, twice, gets a defense ribbon, and a little bit of damage into the bargain, fires again onto the same location, misses. Right, we know the Gerda is moved. He's probably backed up, so just start hosing the general area. We know the Gerda hasn't moved out because, there he is, and he's actually bolted forwards. Bit of a mistake. He's out of his smoke screen. He's under the guns of a Cleveland, a Murmansk, a Fiji, a Mayhan, a Charnoz. Do I have to tell you how this is going to end? No, I don't really think I do. Particularly since, oh dear, who left that island there? Oops, well, I don't think we can call that one a tactical beaching somehow. And Thirksea is getting his, well... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Grash Bay actually nailed the Cleveland. Rubber Duck 51 demonstrating why pushing forwards into the teeth of high caliber guns isn't always a good idea, but Thirksea goes down to Karator's Murmansk, well, Omaha in Russian service to be more accurate, and now the brief silence settles, except, oh looky here, I wondered who'd still got him spotted. Kilshahan attempting a charge into the centre. Ballsy move. Well, that's one word for it. The other would be flat out brain dead stupid when you're charging into the teeth of that many guns unsupported. So needless to say, it doesn't take very long for him to get hammered out of existence either. So, 2 out of 4 destroyers accounted for. Not a bad start, and we have a radar pop from the Belfast, although we only had it briefly. Now, that is curious. Now, we know the radar set is gone. At least we can assume it's gone, so it's kind of safe just to tiptoe out a little way. That Belfast is at 6 kilometers on the last contact. Just inch forward very careful like, and then pick up a couple of targets, and you know what's coming. All stop, guns deployed, smoke generator triggered, fired a little early, or maybe a little slow on the smoke. The Omaha just briefly getting a look in. And the Omaha does exactly the right thing. Rico 100 fighter going bow on to the 6-inch AP and, well, not really deflecting it, but if he goes broadside he's going to get hammered, and this is his best option. At least 6-inch shouldn't be able to overmatch, and there you go. He's still getting hammered, but he is deflecting some of the rounds. Torpedoes in the water running towards the enemy cruisers, and Rico's armour plating is badly letting him down. He's on the wrong end of a 2-tier gap here, and it's not just Tamernon who's shooting at him, but, well, the damage is still coming down. Fighter overhead, he takes one last salvo, turns back, but the fire's going to get him, and Karato bags his second kill of the game. Which leaves 65 Asterisk, who is probably wondering just where he left that magic potion. Although I should remind those of you who are taking it that it only grants superhuman strength and speed. It does not in fact grant invulnerability, at least not as far as I remember the books. Still, I'm sure there's some wild boar. Then again, maybe there... What is that? What is Natchod doing? Okay, that was all skill and no luck from Natchod there. Unfortunately, he is unmasked, and as a consequence, he is getting hammered. Got a little too close to the Degrasser there. Asterisk, perhaps realising how much trouble he's in, finishes off Natchod, but has to turn away, and in doing so exposes flat broadside. More rounds out. The punishment continues, and there's the Citadel, and a kill for Tamernon, second of the game. Now, that just leaves a Konig, a Graf Spee, and a Belfast. And the Belfast is rather obligingly looking... Well, he's not quite looking this way despite the fact that the turrets were rotating. He's actually more concerned about the Mutsuki off to the northwest under Blackadrag that is barrelling towards him with murderous intent. So, a couple of cheap shots out from the 6 inches. He ducks behind the island and, well, Blackadrag's in a fair amount of trouble there. He's got the Akatsuki behind him, he's got the Belfast in front of him. His only real hope is to blitz past the Belfast and try to get a torpedo kill en passant. Meanwhile, while Blackadrag's trying to get out of his mess, Tamernon has got into one himself. He's got the Graf Spee aiming at him, and there's also a Koenig about to clear the headland, and yeah, no smoke and way too close for comfort, and I honestly thought he was dead at this point because, well, he's staring down the batteries of that Koenig. For some reason, the Koenig doesn't fire. Secondary hits only there. He was so lucky not to get repeatedly citadeled and blown out of the water. Doesn't get any torpedo hits, but you know what? I'll take survival over that, which is more than Blackadrag could claim because, well, Blackadrag's been sunk by the Belfast in the meantime. Portside torpedoes in the water, dump smoke to evade. Karato says thank you very much, dives straight into the smoke, and Devolovish is suddenly remembering that, yeah, these ships have 2 sets of torpedo launchers as he goes down for kill number 3 and a Confederate. 98,000 damage. We are 7.5 minutes in. So, things temporarily calm down over here for a bit. So I'm going to take the camera away and we're going to head over to the centre of the map. Because over here, things are getting interesting. Carolee 51 is valiantly holding the centre, but he's got a problem. Savrak in the Akatsuki is, well, has got murder on his mind. It's a thing about Japanese destroyer. Don't mind the shaking. That is just Tamernon taking another pounding from the Graf Spee's 283mm guns. Yes, it's a cruiser. No, it has, well, not quite the same guns as the Scharnhorst. They're a little shorter, L45 as opposed to L50, if memory serves. But Carolee is gently ambling north. Maybe he thinks he can take the Belfast. Well, he probably could take the Belfast on a good day. Belfast doesn't have torpedoes, and Scharnhorst has, of course, got 11-inch guns, torpedoes, and that rather nasty secondary battery. Of course, what's actually coming around the corner isn't the Belfast. The Belfast is nice and safe in this smoke cloud here, and he's set up camp, put the kettle on his house and tea. Savrak, however, is coming round the corner. Slams the rudder hard over, rides the worst of the secondaries, doesn't go for a broadside pass, still takes a serious beating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and dead. Ballsy move for the lady there. Not really elephant, but it worked, and that's a dead battleship. Pops smoke in an effort to clear away, and you can see from the smoke trail that Savrak is making an exit as best he can. Meanwhile, yes, Tamernon is still beating on that Graf Spee and just bagged himself the high caliber. However, the next act of this battle that's going to make a difference isn't actually with Tamernon, it's still over here. Remember, we have Smoke Cloud, we have Belfast, we have Second Smoke Cloud, we have Akatsuki, we also have Angry Mayhan coming up under Spy 55-1. Now, he's picked up, well, they've spotted the Akatsuki. Savrak's on 3,000 health and legging it as fast as he can. If the Belfast had gone east and come around here, he'd been in perfect position to jump Spy as he came round the corner. Of course, he went west, so now there's this dirty great island in the way, and Spy 55 has got all the time in the world to just, well, yeah, not a lot you can say about that. Makes you wonder slightly about Boron's positioning, but as I say, if he'd gone east or even just held behind the northern side of the central island, he would have been in a much better position to take Spy 55 out of commission as he came round the corner. Maybe that would have bought the Akatsuki enough time to survive, maybe it wouldn't, but it would certainly have meant that there was one more enemy ship in play later on. Riding back with Tamernon from here, he's moving down towards point B. The scores are even. It's 4 ships to 4, 550 points each, 9 minutes and 15 seconds, give or take, on the clock. Team Green is actually just fractionally ahead. You'll see that the points are ticking more or less simultaneously. It boils down to who gets the kill. We have a second sensor detection. Given the range, that's got to be the Belfast. In this case, Boron 55 putting the Mayhan out of commission. Little too late to save his fellow destroyer, but it did the job. Unfortunately, the Mayhan got its torpedoes away. So, will they hit? Unfortunately for Team Green, no they don't, and they miss by a country mile, although they were fired into the smoke. And now the Belfast is, well, doing what it does best and merrily abusing someone else's spotting to rain hellfire and high explosive on a hapless battleship. Yes, it's a classic British tactic. No, it's not sporting, but who cares? Sporting in war? The only time the British are sporting in war is in the first half, just so the other guy thinks he's got a chance and can have a bit of a go. Then we get serious later on, and they all just die horribly. Ralph Moll's coming up behind the Gallant, and there goes the New York. So now it's 4 ships on 2. They are 140 points behind, and Karato barrels into the scene. Too late to save the unfortunate New York, and if he's not careful, he's going to be too late to save himself. I think he's realised just how much trouble he's in, but he goes for the kill anyway. He knows he's committed. Portside torpedoes away. Jinx back, staying more or less bow on to the angry smoke cloud that we now know is holding a Belfast. Starboard torpedo launchers coming round, but he doesn't get the angle before he gets caught and killed by the invisible Gneisenau that's lurking over at. Hey, my apologies, it's actually Boron that got the kill, even though there was shellfire coming in from the Gneisenau. Thing is, revenge is fairly swift in coming because, well, broadside in smoke against torpedo armed cruisers, yeah, bad stuff happens when you do that. So now it's Tamernon. And just Tamernon. There were 4 enemy ships. There are now 3 thanks to that suicide salvo, but one of them's a Gallant, one of them's a Graf Spee, and one of them, unfortunately, is a Gneisenau. And those 15-inch guns can mess him up quite badly, even if he goes bow on and hopes for the best. So, there's the Gneisenau. We get a brief spot as he backs out of his smoke. Not really a problem at the moment. He's holding in point A. It's going to take him a while to get himself sorted out. We don't know where... Well, we do know where the Graf is. We know the Graf is somewhere in point D. The Gallant's in point C, making the cap. So, pop the Hydro. Because, as noted, we're chasing a destroyer. All ahead full. Dive across the gap channel into point C and immediately get detected, which is coming off the Graf Spee to the east. There's some high explosive coming down from Donar 70, scores some hits, gets the fire going, immediate damcon to get that out of the way, and just as immediately gets a spot on Raf Moll, who is perhaps regretting his life decisions, but, well, didn't really have much of a chance in that situation. He did get his torpedoes off, however, but single launch didn't properly spread them. I think he dumped most of those down the TDC bearing, and as a consequence, it's a nice, easy evade. Unfortunately, Tamernon still has the problem that he's 40 points and 1 control point down. There's 5 minutes 30 left on the clock. And right now, the enemy have got the advantage on both control points and terrain. He's got to kill the Graf Spee at the very least, and he's also ideally got to nab at least 1 control point back to hold a position advantage and eke a win out of this. There is a solo warrior in the offing, so sights the Graf, rounds on. Rounds come down, and 2 penetrations, 2,000. The Graf's firing armour piercing this time. Takes a couple of nasty hits. He can't take too much punishment from those 283mm guns, and of course the Graf has got torpedoes as well, and we're inside their 8km range. Remember that Graf's torpedo launchers are at a rather odd angle. You can see them right back there on the stern, but despite that mounting, they can fire quite a long way forwards, and he's pretty much at the forward edge of Graf's torpedo arc at the moment. Best hope now is simply to close the range. The Graf can already get through his armour, but that 6-inch gun he's got will have an edge if he can close it down and get a decent angle. Of course, in order to do that, he's got to run the gauntlet of the 11-inch guns on the Graf, gets a few deflections off the Graf's bow, sees the angle as the Graf goes into the turn. The 283's fired, torpedoes away, rounds coming down, batteries away. Graf's torpedoes are in the water, he's turning hard. 1, 2, 3, torpedo hits, 5th kill, Kraken unleashed. However, the enemy are still ahead, because in order to kill the Graf, he came out of point C before he completed the cap. The enemy are now 35 points ahead and rising. There's less than 4 minutes on the clock. Really, he's got to kill the Gneiss now to make a win of this, and all Don Camillo has to do is run away. Of course, those of you who are familiar with Don Camillo will be familiar with the fact that Don Camillo rarely, if ever, runs away. Card sharping, yes. Telling a communist mayor how to get through his grade school exam, don't ask, by writing an essay entitled My First Communion, definitely don't ask. It's a long and complex story, although some pretty good short stories if you've ever got the time to look them up. Yeah, the Gneiss now knows where he is, or rather knows where he was. In comes the 15-inch, takes 1 hit but no damage. As I say, at this point, all Don Camillo has to do is just back off. Go full reverse, crank the rudder over, back away, run the clock off, even better, force Tamernon to come out after him and run the gauntlet of those 15-inch guns and secondary battery and torpedoes as well. Is that what he's going to do? What do you think? Yeah, pretty much. Hydro is up, so no chance of getting embarrassed by torpedoes. 22, 21, 20 seconds on the cap. 18, 17, where has that Gneiss now gone? Torpedoes, dead ahead. There are the torpedoes, so we know one of his launches is empty. And there's the jam on the cap, so we know the Gneiss now has gone into the cap circle. He has actually committed. He's presumably trying to charge the smoke, but at least that's what I'd be doing in his position. But in fact, yeah, there he is, 4.5 kilometers, 15-inch batteries reloaded, 4 barrels ready to go. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Come on, where's that 15-inch? There's the second torpedo launch from the Gneiss now. Tamernon dumps those ways. There's the shot from the 15s. They don't kill him. He slams the rudder over, finesses his way through the torpedo salvo, but the Gneiss now is broadside on and isn't going to have the same luck, and that is game over.